everyone. Welcome to another Endgame recap, where every week we talk about the latest gaming news, cultural artifacts, and what have you. It is, let's check the date here, February 7th, 2025. It's raining here in LA today, and it's putting me in a mood. A good mood, though. We don't get rain out here very often, so forgive my Midwest roots. And I think this is something they say in the Midwest, but I'm putting my hands on my hips here. We really needed this. We did. I mean, you can go into the fires and that whole discussion, but I needed this very much. When every day is the same dream, you really get hopeful for something different. Anything different, really. A little rain can go a long way, is the TLDR of that. And speaking of change, I think we all need some right now. If anything, to get away from the four-alarm fire, the fire hose news, the negativity happening in the world. Sometimes in the gaming news, it seems like that too. At best, I feel like it's confusing right now. So, there's a lot of layoffs happening in the gaming industry, and that's certainly bad. I'm with you. I've been a victim of that layoff, and it hurts. It sucks. And this week I recently saw some more happening in the gaming industry. But to those suddenly facing a world in disagreement with maybe your inclusivity and representation motivations and goals, I just want to say you dreamed of a world better than the one that we have today. So thank you for being you, is what I want to say. It's not always an easy thing to do, and sometimes it really feels like much of the world has directed its anger against you, undeservedly so, but thank you. That's one of my most important tenets as a person, is you being you, and I'm really glad to see that there's a lot of efforts being applied to make more people feel welcome in this gaming industry. So thank you. That's all I wanted to say on that one. All right. Stretch your arms, stretch your legs, do the hokey pokey, drink some tea. Let's change it a little bit. Let's think about some good stuff. Let's have a drink of our tea. Give me 1 second. All right. I was going to do like one of those typical, type things, but I don't know. I did one anyway by making that sound. Okay. So number one thing I want to talk about is The Sims video game aims to make every person feel represented. It's a really cool article kind of summing up the 25th birthday of The Sims. And there's a lot of quotes here, and I wrote a lot down, but I'm not going to go into every bit of it. But it says, from the development of from the first game's players, it made them more cognizant of players' desires to see themselves in the games. So the developers became more intentional in inclusion. And it says here, we're seeking different points of view, different backgrounds, different experiences, and trying to reflect them. It's not a one-for-one, but it's like, how do we take commonalities across experiences and find what is the same that can give you a starting point to let you infer and map out your personal experience? I think something that's easy to forget about The Sims is just how many things we did first. The Sims really changed what life simulation games were, and there's lots of different flavors of that nowadays, this person says. I think that we have been at the forefront of representing a world that does have less judgment and more opportunity and more inclusivity in games. That's clapping. Great. Love that. All right. Feeling good? We feeling good about things right now? All right. Let's maintain that momentum a little bit here and go into this one. It says, PBS Kids has greenlit animated series Skillsville, produced by Twin Cities PBS. Hello. Shout out to Minnesota. The show aims to help 4 to 8-year-olds build personal and career skills with the help of video games. That sounds great, right? I'm going to read a lot of this one, so sit down and get ready. It says, In each episode of the 2D animated series, a trio of friends learns lessons while engaging with a video game. In the game world of Skillsville, the kids help manage a virtual city and learn new strategies for feeling, focusing, organizing, remembering, and thinking differently. All useful skills which they then employ to solve real-world dilemmas. PBS Kid is launching the series in both English and Spanish on March 3rd. There will be 40 30-minute episodes, with each episode featuring two 11-minute stories. The show's goal is to prepare kids for a future job market that doesn't even exist yet. It says Skillsville reflects PBS Kids' interest in career awareness and skill building programming, tapping into video games to make the learning fun. Here's a good bit of, I know this is a lot on this one, but it's good. It's a great piece of news because it showcases the great potential for games, how it manifests through different parts of this industry. And, we got to beat that inclusivity drum a little bit louder when there's opposition around, right? All right, let me continue on this one. It says, in games, you have to listen to instructions, remember key details, focus on goals, and adapt when things don't go as planned. Kids engage with careers in a fun game-like world, and along the way, they're building critical skills that will help them succeed in school, work, and life. The broadcaster has seen how important the gaming medium can be when used as a tool to engage kids and support learning, says SVP and GM Sarah DeWitt. Skip a little bit here. Right here. Here's the kicker, ladies and gentlemen. And whatever pronouns you want, I don't care. I will support you to have all that. Anyway, it says the show's funding comes from the U.S. Department of Education's Ready to Learn grant for programming that builds kids' workplace readiness. In the news, you might remember that it has been talked about a lot and potentially promised that the Department of Education will be dismantled. So, for those of you who may listen to this show but support that idea, here's a reason to not. Okay? All right, moving along here. It says, incredibly expensive video games are not necessary and contribute to job losses, exec says. And this is at GameSpot. Shout out to my friends at GameSpot who are maintaining that place and writing it over there. But I don't know this writer, Eddie Makuch. It's Makuch. I want to give you a lot of respect for this article, especially how you laid this out. I get really bored with a lot of video game news and video game writing. Shout out to all the people. Lots of shout outs this week, I guess. I'm not going to do that in the future. To the people who work hard at this and still love the craft and enjoy what they're doing. I don't really want to be hard on games journalists. Okay, anyway, you're rambling, Kyle. It says Saber Interactive founder Matthew Karch has shared some pointed words about the state of AAA video game market. All right, brace yourself here. Speaking to reporter Stephen Totilo aboard a private jet that he paid $23 million for, Karch said, incredibly expensive AAA games may become a thing of the past and are contributing to the string of job losses in the market today. I think that the age of 200 million, sorry, I'm barely keeping it together here, 200 million, 300 million, 400 million AAA games is on its way out. I don't think it's necessary. I don't think it's appropriate, Karch said. The executive went on to say he believes the costs associated with making such big budget games may help explain why the video game industry is seeing so many layoffs today. I don't know how best to put it. I think if anything has contributed more to the loss of jobs, it's the $100 million budget, he said. Let me review a key part of this that Eddie Makuch wrote. Speaking to reporter Stephen Totilo aboard a private jet that he paid $23 million for. It's a long silence for you to take that in. You know how much $23 million could fund? And I'm not saying everybody needs to, take their money that they have quote unquote earned and give it back to the system or the industry. I'm not saying that this person had any obligation at all to do that. I'm just saying it's interesting to talk about the pains of this industry when you have a $23 million jet. That's all. All right, let's continue on here. Next article. After a pandemic boom, Canada's video game industry is taking a hit. And we never like to see that, folks. We never like to see this industry going bad. I wish we could never see any layoffs. I wish this industry was booming and creative people are getting paid what they deserve, right? We can all agree on that, regardless of maybe your interest or your genre preference. All right, so it says the number of video game companies operating in Canada dropped 9% in the wake of a pandemic-fueled gaming boom. Most of them smaller independent shops with fewer than 25 employees, according to an economic report of the industry. The report for the Entertainment Software Association of Canada says 821 video game companies operated in 2023 to 2024, which is 78 fewer than the peak in 2020 to 2021. Association President Paul Fogelin said a post-pandemic dip was expected since gameplay surged during COVID-19 lockdowns, leading game studios and developers to scale up. Fogelin said the number of people who played games didn't increase that much during the pandemic, but people who played did so more than ever. Coming off of that, we knew there was going to be a slight dip in engagement with games, and that was also at the same time as new macroeconomic conditions, inflationary pressures, lower consumer spending, Fogelin said in an interview. And the article later goes on to talk about the paths to fix it, like creating new funding opportunities amidst what is, a clear surplus of talent, because there's lots of layoffs and all that stuff. Yeah, let's hope that people figure that out. But with programs being killed here in the good old United States of America, I don't know what we're going to be doing on a governmental level, because we should invest in the arts, right? Right. All right, let's move along here. Gaming's largest lobbying group says Trump's tariffs would negatively impact hundreds of millions of Americans and do serious damage to the video game industry. This is a pretty cut and dry article. There's a lot of ones written about this, and I'm really happy with how just matter of fact they all were. So there's 2 paragraphs. We're just going to read that. And we're going to move right on from this one, because I don't know if I can take this and not clip the mic for about a half hour. Let's have another drink of tea in this. We do chamomile. They go chamomile tea when we do this podcast, so we keep the intensity down. Side note, I'm going to get a tattoo very soon here on my wrist of a key emotion. Let's just say I'll take pictures later when I eventually do. It says the U.S. government is set to launch a massive sweeping trade war against Canada, Mexico, and China tomorrow. This was written earlier this week. Although Mexico earlier today was given a 1-month reprieve, which has the potential to throw international economies into chaos, destabilize world security, and make video games more expensive. In response, the Entertainment Software Association, the trade group representing video game publishers in the U.S., has issued a statement saying the move is likely to do serious harm to the game industry and gamers alike. Video games are one of the most popular and beloved forms of entertainment for Americans of all ages, the ESA said. Tariffs on video game devices and related products would negatively impact hundreds of millions of Americans and would harm the industry's significant contributions to the U.S. economy. We look forward to working with administration and Congress to find ways to sustain the economic growth supported by our sector. That's it for this article, but you got to love when people try to speak to their audience with little quotes like that at the end, like saying, we look forward to working with the administration and Congress to find ways to sustain the economic growth supported by our sector. You like money, we like money. Can we not make money together? Okay, let's do that. Anyway, another article. Roblox fans gaming in... Okay, let me start that one more time. Roblox fans gaming industry gloom with weak forecast. Shares tank. So yeah, the Roblox went down 17%. But Roblox's projections points to a third consecutive year of roughly 20% growth in bookings. It says even as rivals grapple with weak spending stemming from high inflation. Interesting, right? the old Roblox. Everyone says so many of the kids are playing the Roblox. Everybody, you know, grooming issues aside, which we could have a separate episode on. It's that cultural zeitgeist thing. So lots of people are involved. Lots of people are playing. Even investors are there. Oh, Kyle, this sounds like a segue. It is. It absolutely is. It says Roblox game Brookhaven acquired by Voldex. Popular Roblox life simulation game Brookhaven has been acquired by game developer Voldex in a deal funded by Rain Partners and Shamrock Capital. Yeah, Rain Partners. I was a part of a startup that was partly funded by Rain Partners. All right, it says created by Roblox user Wolfpack in 2020, Brookhaven is described as a place to hang out, roleplay, interact, craft unique narratives, live in big houses, drive fun vehicles, and explore the city. A consistent top 3 title in terms of concurrent users on Roblox, Brookhaven boasts 60 billion visits and more than 120 million monthly active players. As of June 2024, the top 10 games and developers on Roblox averaged 30 million in earnings each over the prior 12 months, a 5-time increase in that metric since 2019. Overall earnings across the Roblox community have topped 2.8 billion since 2018. So you got to be wondering, like, oh, hey, you guys are going to make so much money off this thing, of this Roblox community. We can brand it. They're probably sitting around, oh, this engagement, they're not using this audience well enough. They're not taking advantage of them. What else can we do? What other products can we do? How can this support our internal initiatives, our new pillar, so to speak? Lots of stuff happens like that. They're probably going to use it to like advertise, but you know, I don't know if I would ever advise these companies to go outright buy that unless there was some really interesting strategies related to how are they going to keep it healthy. It's not to get on a tangent here, but so often it's like, oh, we're going to keep this thing. People are going to keep coming. They're only, you know, going to keep on coming. It's not like churn is a thing that exists potentially overnight. People don't think about that. So got to be wondering if internally alarm bells are sounding or if they're having a conversation directly with the Roblox people. You know, hey, if we bought this, we're supporting you. You support us. Just got your backs. What's going on here, guys? I don't know. Because if you're Rain Ventures, continuing this on, if you're Rain, and there are maybe people internally that aren't familiar with the gaming industry and how these things work out. Like Michael Pachter, Wedbush Morgan advisor, is he? Longtime industry guy, said like, oh, this is stupid. This is premature. We don't need to really talk about this. But you got to wonder how people in Rain are. There's probably like one group, like a gaming group or something like that, new technology, new business that bought this type of thing. Then there's other people at the company, maybe higher up or in different places that have leverage, and that might be like, hey, I just saw this news item. I don't know anything about gaming, but what's up? I thought we invested a lot of money in Roblox recently. What's going on? So I have that. I don't know if it's called corporate PTSD or startup PTSD, but I know that happens. All right. I knew this was a lot of heavy news, so I want a little break here. We're not going to get into too much sad stuff, and if we do, it's going to be very consumer oriented, and we're going to have a good time. All right. So if you need a quick break, go pause it. I know I said 15, 20 minutes. That's why I'm putting this break in there, because we got a few more minutes. I hope what are you doing right now? You washing dishes? You sitting in the car on a road trip with your significant other saying, this guy's really great, and then you're having regrets at this point? God, he rambles. He goes on too much. All right, I need another drink of tea. You know what I've been doing this week? I've been playing lots of Kingdom Come 2 and streaming it, doing a lot of first runs, doing a lot of different stuff like that. So a little plug here halfway through the podcast, more than halfway through, I think, at Real Good There on pretty much every channel except YouTube, which is at Real Good There HQ. Go listen, watch, participate, give me some views and follows. Really help me grease those wheels of making this a full-time gig. Because I don't want to go back to work, right? None of us want to go back to work. In my defense, potential employer that is listening to this right now as I'm unemployed. Miyamoto says he doesn't want to work, and I am not comparing myself to Miyamoto, but I'm saying there's a high bar for someone that famously is the best at what he does. You'd think that he loves it. Even he doesn't want to go into work each day. Okay? I love working and making money and paying bills, but I don't love working, if you know what I mean. Anyway, let's go on to the more rapid fire here stuff. It says, this is on Reddit. It says games that cheated to feel more fun. And I thought this was interesting. Can you think of any games that cheated to feel more fun? And they said, for instance, the rubber banding in Mario Kart that speeds up AI opponents who are behind to bring on the intensity. And it says, and I seem to recall something regarding the xenomorph and alien isolation, always knowing your rough vicinity. And people said, are there any other examples like this? In Half-Life 2, the Combine missed the player. The game will nudge the bullet into a destructible object. The intent was to make firefights feel more cinematic and chaotic. Interesting. Half-Life 2 enemies do more damage with the same bullet when you're at higher health. The idea is to decrease the amount of time you spend at low stress, high health. Fire Emblem True Hit. Rather than roll a random number from 0 to 99, the game rolls two numbers, and their average is the result it applies to a check. So if you have a 99% chance to hit, you actually need to roll 99 twice in order to miss. Otherwise, your average will be below 99. This has the effect of inflating hit chances that are above 50% and deflating those below 50%. Typically, player hit chances are quite high, and enemy hit chances are quite low, depending on the type of unit. So it feels like RNG sides with you more often than not. Yeah, there's so many of these that are really good in games. I'm really glad this is like a secret for the most part that people just don't talk about that often, because it's kind of like looking behind the curtain. The opposite of making it feel more fun was always in fighting games to me, when the opponent could cheat. When, let's just say, I do a move and I know that sounded very Minnesotan of me to say that. No. When I hit someone, I know that when I play against someone online or in person, that they cannot attack after. There's this whole thing about frames, that they do not have the available frames to hit me after. That doesn't matter for the computer sometimes. Sometimes they have that ability, and it always frustrates me. It's like, that's not how it's supposed to be, man. Okay? I know you're cheating, but do it in other ways, like speed up or something, which they do. Okay, this one, I just have to comment on this. I can't remember where it was at. I don't really feel like clicking the article. I don't want to make fun of the writer very much, but it's just kind of, it really grinds my gears. It says, I've decided it's fine if HBO's Abby Anderson isn't jacked in The Last of Us Season 2. Isn't jacked. That wasn't key to her character as far as I know. It was like a cool aspect of her that she was physically imposing, but did it really matter that much? And who cares if you've decided it's fine? There's two ways that these articles come about. It's these writers either thinking too much about this and being like, okay, I've actually decided it's fine. I've come to terms with this. Or if they're telling people, I've decided, but you should decide if it's fine. You know, curb that toxicity in your community. If it's the latter, cheers to you, dude. Or whatever. Really quick here, a couple articles about the Nintendo Switch. It says it clears 150 million in sales. That means it's closing the gap with the PS2 to be the best-selling console of all time. I think, was it a 160 million? Yeah. It said, Sony said it actually sold 160 million PS2s, but it's believed to be 155. So I don't know. Maybe the Switch will eclipse that, but who knows when the Switch 2 comes out. Speaking of Switch 2, Nintendo says it's making preparations for Switch 2 resellers. They basically said that they're going to do everything they can to meet demand, and this is translated from a spokesman over there. But it said, it doesn't say what this person's title is. It says, we will take all possible measures based on the experience we have accumulated to date regarding scalpers and the like. Like, we are making preparations. How do you do that? I don't know. Do you have a hit squad going out? Are you punishing people? Are you working with reselling sites? I don't know. But it feels good that they have a plan in place. So even if they don't, thanks for the nice feel good. Parents probably like that a lot. I'm not a parent, and I'm one of those obsessive gamers who will wait outside to get what they want. Maybe not now as I approach 40 years old, but I used to. I will wait in an online queue in my underwear, but maybe not in person again. I saw people waiting actually for graphics cards outside at like a Micro Center in Minnesota for the latest batch of NVIDIA ones. And you know, I used to tear people down for that until I did it. And then I did it, and it was kind of fun just to be a part of that time in history. I was number one in line for an Xbox 360 at the Target in downtown Minneapolis, Minnesota. Yep, and I was on the news too. My finest hour, ladies and gentlemen. Here's another one. It says, more related to money. Sonic 3 beats Detective Pikachu to become the all-time second highest grossing video game movie. According to Box Office Mojo, the third Sonic movie's recent takings over the weekend have it now sitting at a worldwide gross of $462.5 million. This nudges it ahead of 2019 release Pokemon Detective Pikachu, which until now was the second highest grossing video game movie ever at $450 million. It appears the second place is the highest the movie will ever reach, because in first is the Super Mario Brothers movie, which grossed an enormous $1.36 billion worldwide and overtook the likes of The Lion King, The Dark Knight, and Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, become the 17th highest grossing film in U.S. history. Is that adjusted for inflation? I don't know. I didn't do my research enough to check, so forgive me. A couple things about Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, which I said I have been playing, and I have some clips and streams, and I have been streaming it, and you should watch my streams. Watch my streams very much at Real Good There, everywhere, twitch.tv/RealGoodThere. It says it releases to an impressive 89 Metascore from reviews worldwide. I didn't really look at the negative reviews, so I don't know what people say, but honestly, it just might not be some people's cup of tea. Another one says Dev says it deliberately avoids the instant gratification of modern games, channeling the best of Bethesda like Morrowind and Oblivion. They want to go more old school. And as I've been playing, it certainly feels that way. It doesn't feel like there's a ton of quest markers. It feels like you have to get pixel perfect when you pick up things. Some solutions are pretty vague. It's good. I'm really enjoying it. I can't wait to jump back in. And less than 24 hours after launch, the game actually made enough to break even, or, pay for its development, which is great. So congratulations, Warhorse. Love your game. Keep it up. We're running out of time here. We're getting to almost the 30-minute mark here, but we might go over a little bit because there's the esport aspect, and I want to talk about that. It says how G2 Esports created a 10-year global gaming dynasty. So esports, lots of different teams there that have come in and out. Some have lasted for different reasons. Some have collapsed for other reasons. G2 has lasted for 10 years now, and they have a really interesting approach to this, which is smart. And as someone who worked in esports, I really wanted to reinforce that they've got it down. So the article says, so the big question is, who pays for so many people to play video games for a living? Is it tournament winnings or social media marketing? It says we mostly live on two things. One is brand collaboration. It says just like traditional sporting events, brands will pay big bucks to have their logo put in front of all the eyes watching an esports tournament or engaging with a team. G2 also finds other ways to engage its fans, like the MasterCard Gamer Academy that saw 10 lucky participants mentored in the world of esports, or Jägermeister Nights, which hosted an after party in London after a Counter-Strike 2 tournament. Article goes on to say, another big part of G2's revenue comes directly from video game publishers. When you have 40 million followers like we have, when you have a legacy of winning and entertaining like we have, publishers, game makers recognize that it's good for their game. So the companies that create the video games G2 teams compete compete in will share tournament revenue with the organization, meaning they get paid at least a little bit no matter if they win or lose. And they say this is the same payment model used in traditional sports like soccer's Premier League, where media rights and sponsorship money is shared with competing clubs. And that goes into a third thing that's unique to esports, and that's in-game digital goods. It says many games allow players to purchase in-game costumes for their characters and digital paint jobs for their weapons. These are known as skins. For a game like League of Legends, its developer Riot can add a skin based on players in a popular esports organization, and so they get that revenue. It says currently digital goods only make up 10% of G2's revenue, a tiny amount compared to the 45% from brands and another 45% from video game publishers. But he sees that 10 as the biggest potential avenue for growth. And I think so too. That's something that still people are still kind of dabbling in. It says, speaking of the esports industry, it's continuing to grow. It says 3.47 billion. 2024 to 2028. I'm trying to paraphrase as much as I can with my notes here, so forgive me. The global esports market size is estimated to grow by USD 3.7 billion from 2024 to 2028, according to Technavio. The market estimated to grow at 25% during the forecast period. It says branding is growing. However, growing cost of game development poses a challenge. The esports market is experiencing rapid growth with electronic sports gaining popularity among gamers and non-gamers alike. However, challenge persists. Now listen up here. This is really important, including addiction concerns and health issues such as metabolic disorders, musculoskeletal injuries, and poor posture from long hours of gaming. The industry itself is facing those challenges, people. That's very concerning. So if you're a member of this industry, try and not add to that. All right, moving on. The rise of esports betting, how competitive gaming is shaping online casinos. Super concerned here. I really want to read this, so again, forgive me. I know we're going way long. We're way long here. But esports betting has become a major force in the gambling industry, combining competitive gaming with online casinos. This article is very pro it. This transformation is not only impacting the audience, but also the platforms. Online casinos are evolving beyond traditional games and integrating real-time betting for esports fans. This shift is attracting tech-savvy players and combining strategic gaming with modern gambling. The appeal of esports to online casino enthusiasts. This is the whole section here. Esports excites players with strategic gameplay and professional tournaments. Popular games, blah, blah, blah. League of Legends, Dota 2. It says these games attract people who turn to esports betting, and online casinos see that opportunity. Mobile platforms play a key, all this different types of stuff. It says the global mobile gaming market, which was estimated at 98.74 billion in 2024, is expected to grow 118.9 billion. People want more of an ecosystem, or the betting industry does. So if you're a parent, alarm bells should also be ringing right now for you. And we need to, as an industry, we need to do better. If you want that option to bet, I'm okay with that, as long as you're okay with protecting kids and people with addictions. Deal? Can we shake on that? Okay. There's another article about this esports, how to become an esports Overwatch player and what it means. It's a massive article at Rolling Stones. It says inside the journey to becoming an Overwatch esports player. Go and check it out. It's really, really cool. But I don't want to read the whole thing. It says playing games for a living seems like something that just about anyone can do, and in some ways that's true, but there's much more to it than just getting good. Being an esports player comes with its own unique set of challenges, most of which wouldn't occur to the average Joe. It talks about the mental health aspect, going to the gym, the difference in playing at home for a long amount of time with, versus a team with a more regimented situation. Can you guys hear that? There's someone outside revving their car really loud. Another one says gamers support anyway, the article's great. It's Rolling Stone has some of the best video game reporting, especially esports. Go give them some views. It says gamer supports CFPB video game payments rule. So now we're going to kind of end cap this discussion about esports a little bit, but this is really important as it relates to the administration as it is. And we're going to talk more about it in the name of protecting people. Remember how I said earlier we're going to have some kind of negative things, but we're going to have a consumer-oriented approach? That's this right now. Video gamers and their parents are giving a thumbs up to a proposed Consumer Financial Protection Bureau interpretive rule that treats video game publishers like payment companies if their products involve in-game purchases. The rule's future, however, is uncertain after President Donald Trump fired CFPB Director Rohit Chopra and named Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent as the acting director on Monday. Apologies for pronunciation. The Trump administration is seen as more business-friendly than the Biden administration and could appoint a permanent director who is a less aggressive regulator. The interpretive rule, which the CFPB announced on January 10th, would require video game publishers to provide a mechanism for players to dispute payments and offer refunds to fraud victims. In-game purchases, the rule says, will be regulated under the 1978 Electronic Fund Transfer Act, which provides protections for consumers who send money electronically. While the rule does not specifically address cryptocurrencies, which some video game publishers accept for in-game payments, it does say that the Bureau's study of virtual assets in online payments is ongoing. Parents expressed exasperation that their children are overspending or losing their accounts to bad actors, they said in comments submitted to the Bureau's website. While the parents who weighed in did not give specific dollar values for the amount their children spent on in-game payments, some said their children blew past preset spending limits and used gift cards or family credit cards to make in-game purchases. Games that allow in-game purchases are one-sided, and they are often set up to make you buy more than you need or can use, said a gamer who identified himself as Robert Gilliam in a comment submitted on January 10th. There's always this push-pull, right? How much responsibility do you put in the consumer's hands, and how much responsibility do you put in the government to have some oversight on this? Because, as we know, companies and corporations and predatory individuals are out there, right? And they sometimes are very savvy and very good at what they do, and people need protections against them. So why can't we just have a free market? In an ideal world, we would, but some people need to be protected, and better mechanisms need to be put in place. All right, so the Grammys were last weekend. A 43-year-old game kind of won a big Grammy. That's what Polygon's saying. It says Wizardry, a 43-year-old video game, won big at the Grammys. It was a remake of a game, won a Grammy for its soundtrack. So yes and no, Polygon, but I see what you did there. I'm not mad. Get some more attention for big games. But congrats to everyone over there. It's nice that we have this video game soundtrack category. And last year, Guardians of the Galaxy got robbed. That's all I want to say. Shout out to, last time I should say shout out, but shout out to the audio team over there. It says, I have no time to get into this. We're almost at 40 minutes, but why video game actors are still striking over AI protections. Go read that at Polygon. It's fantastic. FYI, it's still going on. It says Rooster Teeth returns as fans eagerly await its next video game-based TV show. So Rooster Teeth is coming back. I was never a huge fan, but I know a lot of people who were. So watch that space, I guess. Final bit of news items before we go into the big news article at the end. Steam now warns you if an early access game hasn't seen any recent updates. That's cool because a lot of games on Steam, you'll see, oh, it's in early access. And then you look at the comments and stuff are all recent. It's like it hasn't been updated in 2 years. So nice job on Valve for iterating on consumer demand or consumer concern. Okay, here's one. I got a lot of stuff to read it, and we're almost at 40 minutes, so I'm going to paraphrase here. But it says, Charlotte programmer creating Exit 3A inspired video game. Apparently, there is a really bad Exit in Charlotte called 3A, and it says Designed in the late 1960s, Exit 3A is outdated for today's traffic. NC Dot originally predicted that 2,100 cars per day would use the exit by 1995. By 2022, 12,000 cars took it daily. NC Dot has drawn up redesigns of 277, which include lengthening and consolidating ramps, but the funding for that project isn't expected for at least another decade. Ramirez, this designer, Mike Ramirez, says the video game started as a joke between him and fellow creators. He initially wanted to make a game about all of Independence Boulevard, but thought Exit 3A would be more doable. Every time I show it to people, they go crazy about it. I think in the past 5 months or so, I've been taking it more seriously. And so how it works, the player's goal is to navigate I-277 and Exit 3A while carrying Charlotte-related cargo like blue and black soccer balls. Each type of cargo offers different gameplay and challenges. In a snippet Ramirez posted to Instagram, a truck carrying beer cans gets bumped and flipped by other cars as it struggles to reach its destination. The song in the video is Crash Into Me by Dave Matthews Band. And it says, "Are you sure this isn't just live footage?" One person commented. The video has racked up 20,000 likes in 15 hours. So, yeah, that's fun. We need more games like this. Just games created really quickly that are meant to comment on things. And I bet that this project will get further funding quicker because of this game. That's what happens, right? So make video games about issues you care about, like a ramp and how horrible the ramp is. Before I go here, I just want to talk about this one. There's a new book out called Video Game Maps, I think is just what it's called. Yeah, it's from Retro Game Books. It's just a book of maps. I saw this at the last second, and it says dives into Zelda, Kirby, Mega Man, and more, and video game maps as an art form. Super cool. So, wife, if you're listening, you can get that for me. Thank you very much. So that was 40 minutes. We did a long episode. If you're one of the people I talked about or talked to, then I was like, yeah, I'm really excited about this being only 15 to 20 minutes so people can do it while doing the dishes. Hopefully you stuck around. I'm not, this is not going to be the norm. Maybe, I don't know. I really enjoyed doing this, and I hope all of you enjoyed listening. 40 minutes is a long time. It's a lot to ask of someone, so I appreciate it. I appreciate every listen. I appreciate every follow. I appreciate every comment that I get, even the negative ones. Don't be afraid to send those in. And the ones that are the best are the constructive criticism, because thank you. Implementing it, like the timestamps in the YouTube video. But anyway, I'm Kyle Stolick. This is Endgame recap for the week of January 7th, January 7th, 2025, or in February 7th, 2025. I need to go to the gym. Thanks a lot for listening. I'll talk to you later.